They're not equal. That's not equal. Is you just don't go into a shop and just decide you want your car fixed and then you have a problem with your car. Just F ups. And I'm just gonna put this here. F ups. Let's talk about choosing a mechanic. So we're just gonna title it The Mechanic. And I hope you guys can see it good, and I hope I'm spelling everything right, because between my brain and English and Spanish, I do whatever it tells me to do. So there's gonna be more so for like females, guys who act like females, period. Just female, the origin period. This is for y'all. So when you choosing a mechanic, you need to be very careful while choosing a mechanic. And I'm going to give you this #1 rule. This is something that's going to stick to you. You need to understand that. And I'm not going to have so many like dots or bulletins or whatever. It's just going to just how I write it. 10-minute video, and that's that. Skill level is definitely important. You need to know that all mechanics not equal. They're not equal. Why? Because every mechanic ain't goddamn equal. You ever go to a barbershop or a hair salon and go try to get your shit fixed, and you just gonna go to Joe because you see Joe getting customers, but now you see Steve, he getting customers too, but Derek, you don't trust Derek, but Keith maybe, I don't know. You don't know who you're gonna choose from, but I'm pretty sure in between the names I just listed, or Shakrita, whatever the damn name is, Rachel, Stephanie, whoever do hair, Barbara, I don't know. People got names for a goddamn reason, and there's individual skill sets between each person. What I'm saying is, everybody don't work the same. Everybody is not equal when they do the work. Some people may be passionate, some people maybe not. Some people just probably do it just to get a paycheck, and they just happy with that, and they go online and do all of that, whatever, and they just lie. But they ain't got no passion to it. That don't make them, like, there's no, how's that, where's the equality in that? Or am I saying the right word? You're not goddamn equal. And if I'm probably veer off on this or whatever, just to make things more simpler or whatever. So I said skill set, everybody's not equal. And sometimes you gotta ask enough questions like, and these two is gonna go together. How long? How long has this mechanic been working on a car? What do you know about this person? What did you learn? You did your DD? You did your due diligence about the person? What did you learn about the skill set? I just told y'all they not equal, but tell me how long you know this person. Tell me what you see this person did. What visual stuff that you see, anything that's credible. Because if you just go to a mechanic and you don't know nothing about him, then that's the goddamn problem with you. You just don't know how to pick nobody. Sometimes you might need to learn from like other people or whatever, and it's just best to find somebody who's just off of word of mouth. And when I say word of mouth, it's somebody that you might have heard from somebody there. I got my car fixed by X, Y, and Z. They did a good job. I got my hair cut by X, Y, and Z. They did a good job. I got my house fixed by X, Y, and Z. You get where I'm going with this. So somebody always knowing something. So like me, I know somebody who probably install windshields good or something like that. I might recommend him or whatever. It's just an example or whatever. But usually you got to tie a lot of things in this or whatever. And I might have to erase a few just to add or whatever. So just to go back up top, like, they're not equal. That's not equal. Is you just don't go into a shop and just decide you want your car fixed and then you have a problem with your car. Just F ups. And I'm just going to put this here. F ups. You're going to know what the hell I mean by that. When I say F ups, that's because I said all mechanics ain't goddamn equal. It could be out of like a shop. Let's say 10 mechanics work in a shop, right? Probably like 4 of them going to be like solid. The rest of them probably is areas that they need to get stepped on. Why? Because we can hear this. How long? See, I'm writing everything down for a reason. They're young. If you are young and you up here telling me, and you in your 20s, and you up here telling people You X, Y, and Z. You the get. You good. You da 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 da. And you have nothing creditable. Period. Nothing to back everything you. I don't care about certifications. All that. I don't care. Anybody can read, but hands on. If you can't back that up, and you young, to me, it's just like trying to trust like a young doctor versus a doctor who been in the game for like 40 years. You get what I'm going. You don't trust somebody who ain't been around the product long enough, who ain't seen enough problems long enough and go through these problems. Your diagnostic game is not going to be up there. So unless you some super baby or boy jeans or something like that, and I'm not talking about you, but with time comes experience, and you level up your skill level. Timing is key with this stuff or whatever. And like I said, word of mouth through time. For how long you been working on cars? Yeah, he been my mechanic for 5 years. Yes, that's been my plumber for 20 years. The electrician, yeah, I knew him for a good while. How long? Word of mouth. Skill set, your level, what you can do, what people know you as. It's just you building this personal rapport for yourself, and then you building a relationship with other people. So it's kind of, it's too much to take in for me to be explaining how I want to explain, but I can only give it to you like in a little stuff or whatever. But like I said, if you young, you can't convince me. You can convince me on certain stuff, but you can't convince me on like stuff that's just like expert level, like jobs and stuff. Like you have a lot to learn. But let's just talk about people who could be 30s to like maybe in their 40s too. Now, it could be in their 50s if they want to, in 60s, but anybody in their 60s, why the hell would I expect them to be up any goddamn higher level? You should be doing lower jobs to, save tension, the tension on your body that you could be receiving from these type of jobs. So let's more so worry about these categories right here, because if you in your 50s, because I know if I would be in my 50s, I would expect myself to be in shape. I'm still in my 30s still, but when I get to my 50s, I'm expected to be in shape still. So everybody's going to be built different. I don't know, but even my 50s, I expect to be a goddamn expert, to be goddamn elite. So let's worry about these two age groups. It could be these two age groups. It could be some mechanics that know some stuff, and there's a lot of them that really don't. Why? Because they grew from their 20s and transitioned into their 30s and transitioned into their 40s. About to go to their 50s as is, and never thought about leveling up the goddamn skill. You ain't care about skill. That's why I said everybody not equal. Just because somebody can do brakes, to do X, Y, and D, and certain suspension works, you give them something drivability or something hard with a check engine light, and they doing basic stuff like doing tune-ups and still not resolving the issue and still don't know what it is. Why? Because it comes down to the goddamn skill level. This is important. Everybody's not dedicated. Everybody is not dedicated. Some people eat, sleep, and shit this. That's me. Some people are not built like that. When I was young and I said I wanted to be a mechanic, I took things serious. I said I wanted to be a mechanic. I made it happen, and I've done the steps necessary to get it done. So I stuck my guns. That's how everything works for me the way it is, through word of mouth and how long I've been working on cars. These things are important. Another thing, if I could add, is let's talk about consistency, basically. Now, when I say consistency, how many good jobs did you get from this person, this mechanic or whatever? But you knowing him doing other jobs and getting it done, and that's what he does. That's what he good at. The doctor is knocking out the patients. The barber is knocking out the heads he got to cut or whatever. When you show consistency and you got a built routine, a lot of these jobs is just like people know who to go to specifically based on what you can do, the turnaround time, and just constantly being there for them, period. Like, and I should just put like consistency and like dependability or whatever. I don't know if that's a word, but that's like, let's just talk about like, cause my language is messed up between the time. I ain't gonna try to embarrass myself, but being just, let's put available, like being reliable, but you available, you there. And because people know that you could be there, they gonna fuck with you. What I'm trying to say is the ones who are set basically on a strict 9 to 5 schedule, there's really not gonna be no consistency with them because they shutting down at a certain time, and whatever it is they do outside of work hours, that's what they do. They don't care. Like I said, I'm fully dedicated into the point I was investing a lot of my time and spending hours and hours inside of a shop rather than probably just being home or whatever. So it was a lot of shop time I got under the belt. And like I said, how long I've been doing it, building up my skill set. And what I do, word of mouth, it gets back around because I have specialties basically under my belt. When you have specialties, jobs should come to you, no problem, based on you being consistent and available. But these lazy mechanics who just do it just to do it on a clock, you can't really depend on them. Their head is not really in the game like that. Their head is built on schedule. Damn, I just got here at 8 o'clock. Dang, I don't want to work. Or I'm a bullshit. I'm going to get this job done. I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do nothing. I'm going to be lazy. I don't want to be here. I want to yada yada yada. If somebody shows up to work or a mechanic shows up to work and he bitching and moaning about working, why the fuck he come there in the first place? When you say your dumb ass home. What I'm saying is people don't, they just be there, but they're not there. You can give your car to somebody who thinking about playing video games and working on your car and or thinking about fucking bitches or doing something or whatever the case is. His head is not in the gutter, and which meaning from off his skill set comes like immaturity. I don't know if I'm spelling it right, but like if you're young, like I said, it falls into that. You're immature, your skill level is low. We know how long you've been working on cars, and word of mouth, you shitty ass mechanic. You ain't consistency, and you just not dependable like that. You ain't available like that. You just on your own time or whatever. Like come on, like you ain't gonna last long. Don't think that you want to be that person in the shop that people just give the shitty ass jobs to basically, or when something small come in, but you want to learn. There are a lot of mechanics who want to up their game up, and they can't up their game. They can't learn. They can't. Why? It's just because they just don't want to work on nothing. They don't want to raise their level up. They don't want to step up their game. They don't want to level up. Is what I wanted to say. So somebody who immature and somebody who young is just, you give your car to them. They might be just so forgetful because their head is not in a place where it's supposed to be. They might forget something on your car, might forget to do something. I understand like things happen, but those things come back as more prominent with somebody who's more young. Why? Because they fast as. We all know people young like being fast. So if you giving your car, I don't care if you young your damn self, you don't give your car to get fixed from somebody else that's the same age as you and they young as fuck. You give your car to somebody who's older. Why? Because they got more experience. They're damn near probably like an expert probably. And if you don't know nothing about this mechanic, it's either maybe you might got to try out a mechanic. That's okay. But at the same time, you need to be careful who you giving your money to, because you can give your money to people who just don't care, will do the job just to do it, and you'll get comebacks, whatever, and they're not resolving the issues. And literally everything I just listed, if you can try to study this and whatever, put it into your own, I'm pretty sure nothing really to study, but you can go back to this video anytime you want because it'll be posted. You know what to do and what not to do. You don't have, like Leek said, yeah, I need to worry about, I'm going to ask the mechanic how long you been working on the car. And shoot, what's your popularity around here? What you got? Can I see some pictures? Can I see what you do? Videos, yada yada yada. Everybody got cell phones nowadays. They should be able to show you something. Consistency. You need to peep his work ethics. Peep how he work. Peep how he getting it done or whatever. Like I said, it's immaturity. I'm telling you, everybody is not equal, and then the immaturity that goes with that. Skill level varies. Like I said, you can have 10 mechanics, you can have 10 barbers, you can have like 15 construction workers. Every single one of them, it's not going to be level. It's going to be a small amount that got a higher expert level than the ones below them. Why? Because some people are dedicated and some people are not dedicated. That's just how it is. So if you know your mechanic is dedicated, you know your mechanic is credible, you in good hands. If you got a hard time, study this damn video and go over and over. So next time when you find a mechanic, you'll know how to choose a better one. And then you ain't got to question him too many times. You get to the point, you just drop it off. He know what to do. Why? Because you did your rapport on him. You trust them. You don't need to question. You just need to know what's wrong and be like, all right, how much? All right, and then I'm send it to, or I'm gonna do the money that I get. Whatever the case is, just try to do your DD on a lot of these mechanics. But just because a shop say they can do X, Y, and Z, the goal as a business to get money and make money, bring in money, right? So that's all they doing. They try to get you in there. If McDonald's posting how they hamburgers look on in the advertisement as a commercial, we know it looks good in a commercial, but in person it don't look like that. So you just kind of stop being suckered in a lot of things just because it looks good on the outside. Sometimes before, you might got to drive or past the shop a billion times before you decide that, hey, I'm going into this shop now because I see that these guys get business. Hey, I'm going to Leek because I don't watch a lot of videos that Leek did, and he worked on a lot of different cars. It looked like he know his stuff between the products and different manufacturers and stuff like that. So I'm gonna fuck with him. You get where I'm going with this. So Leekautorepair, like button, subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.